You're creating permanent damages. You think it's right to see the children, the father or the mother, getting arrested by the police with handcuffs and putting in prison to your child. It's a trauma. Because I understand you hate your wife, you hate your husband because they cheat on you, they did something wrong. But think about your kids. Today it's easier to catch a cheater than 20 years ago. Okay?
Yeah.
Because everything goes fast today.
It's w- digital footprint is changing the way evidence is treated.
Of course.
It is, and a lot of people need to understand out there that it's something that you just don't walk into a investigator and you're gonna get answers in 24 hours. It doesn't work that way. It takes time. Even with the serious law enforcement agencies, it could take months and years to come up and prove something. But however, when you work with a private investigator, your advantage is that you have resources allocated to you.
Yes, done professionally as well. And at the end, I always tell my client, you see, sometimes they're hiring their friends, they're talking to their girlfriends, friends, oh, help me. And they start to get involved, and
It's,
it's a disaster.
that person becomes a liability and a stalker.
A disaster. They're creating situation, and sometimes even they get arrested for stalking. And I saw so many things. Look, it's going to cost you a little money or some money. But at the end, you have a peace of mind. Okay,
Correct.
first, you're not getting involved. That can avoid you to be arrested for domestic violence. Okay, because in Florida,
Also, cyber stalking.
I was talking to the chief of police of North Miami Beach. We were doing a net of podcast, and he told us. He said that when they are called for domestic violence, they have to make an arrest. This is mandatory. So if they can't define if it's the husband or the wife, they have to arrest. They sometimes arresting both of them. So when you get arrested, first of all, it's domestic violence, a felony. It goes on your record. It doesn't look good. Okay. Secondly, you're gonna need a lawyer because you're gonna go to jail. They're gonna put you in jail. So you have to pay for a bail bond, okay, to get out of jail. Otherwise, you stay in prison until you go in front of a judge. Sometimes it takes weeks. Okay.
Correct.
And it happened on Friday, I guarantee you're going to spend your weekend in prison. All right.
Just there's no court on
That's
Saturday.
happening every day. And it happened to the nicest person. I can tell. Very nice girl, very nice woman, very nice guy going to jail because confrontation of a situation, confrontation of a domestic affair, confrontation of cheating spouse. Do you think it's right to see the children, the father or the mother, getting arrested by the police with handcuffs and putting in prison? Think about what you're creating here. You're creating a permanent damages to your child. It's a trauma. Because I understand you hate your wife, you hate your husband because they cheat on you, or they did something wrong. But that's okay. That's your opinion. Okay. But think about your kids. And this is damages that people do every day during divorce, during separation. I spouse criticizing their spouse to their child. But what you're doing here, you're your child, and you are criticizing your child because keep in mind, you had a child with a man. It's half and half. Half as a team. So if you say bad thing to your child about his dad, you are saying bad thing about your child as well, because you have to keep in mind, you didn't make the child by yourself. Okay, you're the father. That doesn't mean that the father doesn't like you anymore, or the husband doesn't like you anymore, that he's not going to take care of his child, or vice versa. Okay. So you have to be careful emotionally when you act and you get in a situation of domestic violence with your family. And that's going to affect much more your kids than you. You're going to recover. Your kids are going to be traumatized for many years. You know how tough it is to see that for them to process this kind of information?
It
It's
is.
horrible.
It stays.
It's horrible. I seen so many family destroyed because there was only a revenge. Yeah. Oh, if I cannot have him or I cannot have her, nobody can have it. You understand?
You understand?
And this is very common, more than you think. So before you do all those things, sometimes think about your children, think about your family, think about your finance, because a divorce can be done right, with reasonable, like being reasonable, being honest, being um, ready to communicate with spouse, because a lot of time they shut down every communication and you hire a lawyer and the lawyer is involved. So everything goes through the lawyer. You cannot even see your spouse anymore. Okay. You have a kind of restraining order here. And at the end, financially, it's going to be a disaster. You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose sometimes even your job. Okay. And who's going to make the money? Who's going to be beneficial of everything?
I like that.
The lawyer
Yeah,
will make money,
of course. But
which is good for them.
yes,
I'm not saying they're doing a bad thing because they have to, it's a business. They're not here to, it's not and to help people for no money. They don't work pro bono. Some do, but not for divorce.
correct. You know, a lot of people also they've been asking, how can they be helped when they are subject to domestic violence indoors and they have no way to prove it to the law enforcement? Because when they obviously call, they basically the law enforcement doesn't see anything going on. There's no proof of it, and they get afraid. The victim
Mm-hmm.
is afraid of pretty much selling out the offender, the perpetrator of the domestic violence. Now, I know that as a private investigators, there is a rule that we have to be away from a window. Certain.
Yeah.
Now, with the technology and the things that we are doing in house, we can help them because we can get footage in a way that we are not present, but we are able to get the footage that we need with the technology that we're using house. And that is something that we're going to talk.
Yeah. We have new now.
Correct.
So in our agency, I developed sometimes, surveillance costs a lot of money because you have to pay someone to stand outside of the property. Yeah. And the drone, we use drones with a certified drone license operator, which is a commercial license. So you cannot use drone in private investigation if you don't have a license because you're using as a commercially. So
Yes.
you're getting money for it. So it's not like an hobby. You
It's
go to
not a
the park, you go to a park with your kid, you fly the drone, you take photo, videos, and they say, "Ah, it's fine, that you can do it." But in the term of private investigation work, you can't to have a license. So we do have this option as well. But there is other things. So sometimes you use uh, someone to do surveillance in the car, standing by outside of the property. A lot of time, it depends of the neighborhood. The people are concerned because they see a car with someone. You know, they say they call the police. Okay, now the police come, or sometimes they don't come because we call the dispatch. As a private investigator, we call the dispatch police and say, "Hey, we are doing investigation. We are doing surveillance. My vehicle is this. My license plate is that. I'm a private investigator. You give your credential or license number and your information, and you tell them that you're doing surveillance in the neighborhood, though they don't send the police. And they don't send the police. That's the law, that's the beauty of it. Now, neighbor, they got upset. They're gonna start to communicate it with other neighbors. A lot of people now in the community, condominiums or a property, they have a on WhatsApp. They're communicating with each other and they start saying there is a suspicious car here, suspicious car there, and this guy and this and that. And saying then the subject might be alert of something weird. And
Correct.
then you get burned. So it depends where we can do this kind of static surveillance. So we use other technology. We have, for example, we have a hidden camera. We are installing those camera in the public places on the sidewalk. It's technology. So
Right.
we are creating devices that they are blending in the decor. Okay, so it can be anything. It can be a transformator, and it's not. We put it here, and we put the camera, and it's big enough to have enough battery inside to run a small electrical device. It could be a car with zoom in and out. Nobody see what's going on, and it happens every day. So this is cheaper than to have someone hosting for hours. You understand?
Yeah.
So, but
And risking
result
and risking a human.
risking being uncovered, risking to um, sometimes the guy is late. But again, that camera are not gonna follow the subject. Okay,
Right.
so you still need someone to follow sometimes and make sure we can get aware about suspect or
Yeah. The
subject.
the means that look, you're obviously investing in technology, getting this technology ahead, but also when you the who wants to prove that you are subject to domestic violence or any harassment,
Like
but
someone harassing.
correct,
Yeah,
then
stalker.
on a stalker, what you are going to need is not somebody that you or friend or somebody that is going to take a footage and is going to basically tell you this is what it is. No, you need somebody professional who is going to be able to build your case legally so that it can survive
Hmm.
a court case. Let me tell you what is happening. Let's say you get somebody to fly a drone for you to prove that your husband is hitting you. Okay. If that person is caught by the FFA, is going to be in a lot of trouble because the only people who can actually fly a drone, especially for privacy and surveillance, are private investigator and somebody who is a drone certified pilot.
Yes, and then if you use those in court, they won't be admissible because you didn't get it legally,
Correct.
and it's a chain of custody of evidence. So it's gonna be completely demolished by the lawyer.
Absolutely.